This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping on January the 2nd of Friday, 2015. We say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you, our fantastic listeners. And don't forget, next week, January the 11th, our show normally runs on 6:30 CHED, 3 in the afternoon on Sundays. We are going to be on from 2:30 to 3:30 as our Edmonton Oilers are playing the Florida Panthers at 5 o'clock. We will be on just before the pregame show. And remember, if you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's two websites, HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. In iTunes, type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You'll find the podcast there. We are portable. We go anywhere you do. Our featured Diamond of the Week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We'll talk more about diamonds in the second half of the show. It is a stunning 0.49 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink. And it's from the Argyle mine. What a beauty it is. And we will talk more about diamonds in the second half of the show. And as we finish off 2014, move into 2015, it was interesting to note, Frank Holmes from USA Fund said that when you take a look at things, gold was the second best performing currency behind the U.S. dollar. I know that obviously in U.S. dollars, gold went down, but in a whole host of other currencies, gold was up dramatically. Something to keep in mind. In Greece, they were not able to elect a president. That means they have to have elections. And there's a huge concern that a party that is far, far to the left could get in and take them out of the Eurozone. In Saudi Arabia, they posted a budget for 2015. It means that they'll have a $39 billion deficit. That's a result of oil prices coming down. They have saved approximately $800 billion. But the feeling is that if oil prices don't come up, they will chew through that money very quickly. And they have to keep everyone happy there, or they could have their own Arab Spring. Russia, the Russian economy, well, it shrank in November for the first time since 2009. Inflation, 10% in December in Russia. In the United States, federal student loan debt topping $800 billion. Also, BlackRock coming out and saying accounting trickery has boosted S&P profits by 86%. This is BlackRock saying it. Also, a famous Venezuelan ice cream store, it closed. And the reason it had to close, no milk, a shortage of milk in Venezuela. And Harold, I know your partner, Jose, he is originally from Venezuela, and you know all in great detail what's happening there. And there are a lot of people suffering.
You better believe it, Randy. Again, it's a very frightening situation to think that their lives can change that quickly. And, you know, it's not only in Venezuela, it's in major other parts of the world, too. Obviously, it's happening in Russia now with interest rates going up to 17% because the ruble has been plummeting because of sanctions brought against them. Obviously, it's going to wreak havoc on that economy going into 2015. You've got the same situation going on with Iran. They've got sanctions against them also, and the people in Iran are suffering tremendously as their currency falls and their standard of living drops tremendously. So we're going into 2015 very much like 2014 with some major issues that, again, we have to be extremely concerned about. Probably the biggest issue at this point is what's happening in oil. The fact is that oil prices, as you all know, has plummeted. In fact, oil is trading at around $52 an ounce right now, at a barrel, $52 a barrel right now, and could definitely go a lot lower than that. The fact is that it appears that it's not OPEC, it's Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia seems to be extremely angry over the situation, and it seems that they're wreaking havoc on the market. You see, Saudi Arabia could definitely cut production, and by cutting production, they could bring oil prices back up to $80, $90, but they don't want to do that. And the reason they don't want to do that is they want to punish the United States, it appears Canada, Russia, and Iran. And by doing so, by keeping oil prices low, it's hurting the United States, because in order for the United States to be profitable in their shale oil programs, oil's got to be over $65 a barrel, and it's at 52. When is it going to be that they're going to stop pumping oil because they're losing money on every barrel that they're pumping? On top of that, a similar situation is happening in Canada. Look at how much it costs to bring oil out of the oil sands, and again, they're losing money on every single barrel of oil that comes back onto the market. And they're going to do the same pain to Russia and to all other OPEC members. So you've got a lot of situations going into the new year that could be very detrimental. You've got Russia, who's angry, and Russia can respond. You know, they may have sanctions against them, and they may see their currency plummeting and interest rates going up and inflation. But don't forget that Russia also controls the majority of the natural gas market that goes into Europe. And if they want to, wreak havoc on the markets, they can stop all natural gas going into Europe. That means that people are going to freeze. They're not going to have any heat to heat their homes. And on top of that, don't forget that Russia owes tremendous amounts of money to the European banks, and they just won't pay. So you've got situations going into the new year. You know, on one hand, oil prices, when they're low, they can help the economy. But on the other hand, they can totally destroy the economy of certain countries, like it's doing with Venezuela, Russia, Iran, other OPEC members that are losing money on every barrel of oil that they're pumping. So, again, we anticipate that there's going to be some action-reaction type of situations coming in the first quarter of this year. I would think that Russia's going to do something. I just don't see Russia sitting back and accepting these sanctions as Iran has done for these last couple of years. So, again, you've got that one major situation going on at this point. There's obviously major problems in Europe, and the fact is that, you know, where the United States seems to be the best of the poor countries that, again, are in these type of financial issues, let's not lose sight of the fact that the United States is still in unbelievable, phenomenal debt. They owe so much money it could never, ever be paid back. The only thing that's going the way of the United States at this point is that the economy in the United States is better than it is in Europe, Russia, and those other areas that have major sanctions against them. Again, I think that the credibility in the marketplace has suffered tremendously in the United States. A lot of people, and I, over the holidays, you know, was with a lot of very successful friends of mine from different parts of the country, and where they may have done well with their stock accounts and their retirement accounts coming back up, the fact is that most agree that the markets are manipulated. Most agree that there's no way in the world that an 18,000 Dow is representative of the U.S. economy. So, how do you deal with these type of situations? How do we deal with markets that are being manipulated? You know, throughout the year, Randy has done just such a phenomenal job on the newsletter, but don't forget, we've seen banks that have been fined in the billions of dollars for manipulating the currency markets. We've seen stock firms being, you know, slapped and fined substantially for insider trading and things like this. But the fact is that these countries that get these fines, or these banks that get these fines, they made so much money, the fines are incidental to what, you know, the end result actually was. So I don't think there's a lot of credibility in the market. There's people that made money in the stock market this year, but it's not the right people. It's not the people that need it the most. It's not the general public. It's not the middle class that needed to see stock prices go higher, needed to see, you know, some wealth come back into their life. Because the fact is that unemployment in the United States is pathetic. It's at 15 to 20%, even though the numbers are showing that it's at around 5.5%. Nobody in the United States that has any intelligence believes the unemployment numbers that come out of the government sources. So again, going into 2015, where I would normally make predictions on what the markets are going to do, it's extremely difficult because the markets are not trading on their own volition. They're not trading on their own fundamentals. We know that's not the case for gold. We know why gold and silver prices, you know, fell from their highs in 2011 till now. What's going to happen with gold? Every indication is, according to what I see, is gold is going to fall further going into the new year. I think that $1,000 price for gold is in the cards. We're trading below $1,200 today. But the fact is that with the U.S. dollar being the stronger currency at this point, I do believe that we will see gold and silver prices fall further. Now, how much further can they go? Well, Fact is that I think the gold will go to about 1,980 in that area, which will bring us down to almost a 50% retracement. Very similar to what we saw in 1979 and 80 under similar situations. I believe that is what's going to happen. So I would certainly wait and see what's going to happen with gold, but there's no doubt at this point that we are going to see lower prices, and that's primarily because other currencies are falling against the U.S. dollar, and we know that there is a direct correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar. Back when we first started recommending gold, it was the exact opposite situation. The U.S. dollar was extremely strong, one of the strongest currencies in the world, and gold was down at $250. When the U.S. dollar started to sink and get into trouble because of tremendous debt and everything like that, you saw gold take off, and gold went from $250 when the U.S. dollar was a strong currency all the way up to $1,920 when the U.S. currency was at 72.5 cents. And then the banks and the exchanges where gold and silver is traded, we all know what they did. They raised the margin requirements and made it so expensive to trade gold and silver, and they killed the market. And the reason that they did that was because there was too much gold and silver purchased, and there wasn't enough gold and silver physically to match up to the contracts. And the commodity laws say that when you buy a futures contract for silver for 5,000 ounces, there has got to be 5,000 ounces of silver sitting in the New York warehouse. Well, so much gold and silver was purchased up till 2011 that it was impossible. There was no way there was that much gold and silver in the world to match up to the futures and the ETF contracts. So that's what destroyed at that point and started the decline in the gold and silver markets. Otherwise, gold was on its way to 2,000, 2,500 and higher. We believe that those numbers are still going to happen. It's obviously not going to happen short term unless something explodes in the market and we see something crazy. And by the way, there is enough situations out there with these derivatives and the oil markets and what's happening in Russia and the Middle East and all the hatred that's happening throughout the world. I'm saying that there are current events that could really change the markets almost at the snap of a finger. And the fact is that we do believe that we are going to see very aggressive and very volatile markets in 2015 and moving forward. You need to own hard assets, assets that are not paper traded, in combination with other assets in order to stabilize your portfolio. To have, in the case of, again, hard assets and alternative assets, assets that respond differently and maintain value, like in diamonds. There's reports in the newsletter this week on pink diamonds that when you read it, you're going to understand what we've been saying for the last 10 years, that these type of assets, hard assets that you hold and that you own, can actually be the best assets for you, especially in these volatile and crazy markets. So, again, I'm not going to make predictions as to where I think on the upside gold and silver are going to, because I do believe we are going to see further downside, at least in the first quarter of this year. But also understand that we're buying gold and silver and diamonds as a hedge against all these bad things that could happen in the market, and there's just no doubt that there's enough situations worldwide that could change these markets at the snap of a finger, and you've got to make certain that you're together and ready to strike when these markets are ready to go. So, again, we see a further decline in the metals coming, but nothing tremendously substantial, and then we're going to be major buyers of these asset markets again. So, Randy, that's what I see happening at this point. A lot of fear and volatility and uncertainty in the markets, and the things that scare me the most are Russia. I'm really concerned as to what they're going to do this year, because they just don't seem to be the country that's going to sit back and let the United States do what they're doing to them in the way of sanctions and ruining their style of lifestyle. So I see some fireworks coming in the first quarter of this year, and again, it's imperative that you own the type of assets that are going to protect your equity. That's the most important thing, is making certain that your money is protected, that you're not going to lose it in the paper asset market.
Well, it seems Mr. Putin is very defiant, remains very defiant. And in Greece, that's another potential black swan as well, depending on who is elected there. And if they have that far-left party get in, it really does open up the door to who knows what happening. them maybe not paying off their debts as promised. They're not getting the money from the IMF to keep them going until they get through the elections. So at that point, they may not have any money if they don't agree to continue to go along with the plan they originally agreed to get this influx of money put in. And you could see them potentially leave the Eurozone. So it's a very dicey time, as Harold mentioned. That's why you need to listen to our radio show and get our free weekly newsletter. We have our free weekly newsletter, brand new information this week. Get it from Harold, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The telephone number to speak personally and privately with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. And one of our charts this week, we have how every major asset class on the planet did in 2014. And the big winner was coffee at 52%. Rather interesting. Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com is a .49 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. We'll talk about diamonds from rarecoloreddiamonds.com a little later in the show. In our newsletter, we have an article about David Tice, and he is not shorting stocks yet, but he does believe that he will be correct in his prediction that stocks will crash 30 to 60%. Tice reiterated his August call that we should expect the stock market to fall by 30 to 60%. I have the same kind of feeling I did in 98 and 99, also 05 and 06, he said. This is going to end badly. I have every confidence in the world. Tice continues to be concerned about the velocity in money will pick up in the massive money supply, stoking inflation and forcing rates to go higher. 0% interest rates are not going to be here forever, he said. When interest rates go up, they're going to have some serious problems that they're dealing with. And rates are going to go up at some point. David Tice is a big believer in gold, and he said that hasn't treated him well here in the last few years. In fact, in 2013, gold was down 28% this year. Well, actually last year, 2014, 2%. Tice thinks that gold is a good bet if inflation picks up. Bullion, I feel, is the buy of a lifetime. For someone who spends his time being what some people believe negative all the time, Tice actually has a very glass half full way of thinking about gold prices. He says, looking at oil prices falling as they have, gold has actually held in pretty well given how low oil prices have gone. And Harold, David Tice coming out and reiterating his call for a major pullback in the stock market of 30 to 60%. And he thinks that gold is the buy of a lifetime. And I would agree with him. I think in 2015, we have to be very cautious on the stock market because we saw how quickly the oil market came down when no one expected it. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest to see that happen to the stock market.
Not at all. Again, when these markets are manipulated, these things can happen. If they're allowed to trade on their own volition, you very seldom ever see these situations happen. But again, we're not at that time. We're at a time when the governments were so desperate and in so much trouble that they did what they needed to do in order to get the economies back on track. And I do have to say, in the United States, you know, what they did at that particular time turned out to be the right move. The problem is that what's going to happen down the road when we have to pay the piper. And there's absolutely no doubt that that's happening. And I am a big believer in what Tice is saying, too. There's no doubt that inflation is going to come. Inflation is coming all over the world. There's no reason it's not going to come to North America. So it's only a matter of time until we pay for the manipulation that we've done to these stock markets and to the metals markets and to the oil markets and to the currency markets. I mean, it's a really unbelievable thing, Randy, to think that we're talking about this. We're talking about the credibility of the marketplace, and all the markets have our credibility. The fact is that if nobody trusts the market that they're trading in, they're going to be hesitant to trade. At this particular point, you've got Wall Street that is comfortable because they're in the know. They know that the fix is in. They know what happened back from 2008 and 2009, and those that were on the inside of it made fortunes of money. But that doesn't represent most of the country that didn't make anything in the stock market over the last 4 to 5 years.
Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We'll talk about diamonds in the second half of the show. A .49 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid purplish pink argyle. You can see it at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Click on featured diamond of the week. Dennis Gartman, a controversial figure, has come out and said if you buy one thing in 2015, buy this. And he's saying gold. Despite bullion being pennies away from posting its first back-to-back yearly loss since 1997, which it eventually did, it was down 2% for 2014. The self-proclaimed commodities king and author of the Gartman letter told CNBC Futures Now on Tuesday that he sees gold enjoying a solid 2015. My better trade for the year will be the same trade that has been the better one for this year and the better one for the previous year, which obviously is gold, according to Dennis Gartman. And one of the things that we have in our newsletter, and I would really encourage you to take the time to read it, we'll be happy to send out our free weekly newsletter to you. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, where you can speak with him personally and privately at 1-800-432-1022. Could Russia back its currency with gold? A very interesting article. Russia, the government there, it's a question a lot of people are asking. That rumors were flying last week that Russia was on the verge of selling its gold reserves. That was quashed. In fact, they actually went out and purchased more gold. And now the question is, will they back their currency with gold? I know there's been talk that in the Far East that we're looking at China possibly at some point backing their currency with gold as well. Harold, we have about a minute left. What are your thoughts?
Well, the fact is that both of them could do that because they're both huge holders of gold. And again, if you're going to sit back and wonder why China has been buying as much gold as they have, we believe that that is the reason. We believe that there's a plan in the mix that, China is going to be the reserve currency, and they're going to do it by backing with gold. They own more gold than probably any country in the world, and they continue to buy. So I think that's a real possibility, Randy. I think that we could see that for sure.
Connect with Harold, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Telephone number 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com and take a look around at the world's finest investment diamonds. It's like a museum online. And you can take a look around and sign up for our free weekly newsletter as well. Should mention, next week on our show, normally on Chat at 3 in the afternoon, we'll be on the air 2:30 to 3:30. The Edmonton Oilers playing the Florida Panthers at 5 o'clock. The Oilers, they'll have a pregame show. We'll be on just before the pregame show. Keep that in mind. Next week, we're on the air 2:30 to 3:30. Connect with Harold, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone for our first show in 2015, Harold Siegel. We're taping on January the 2nd of Friday, 2015. Our time is 9:05 Mountain. Our radio show runs on your favorite radio stations, 6:30 CHED in Edmonton, 3 in the afternoon on Sundays. Next week, we will be on from 2:30 to 3:30. The Oilers playing the Florida Panthers, game time 5. Pre-game show prior to that will be on just prior to the pre-game show. Remember, next week we're on from 2:30 to 3:30. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived and streaming live on Harold's websites. Actually, it's rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HESradio.com. Rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HESradio.com. You can listen to the shows there. We also have a podcast. And I know so many people have portable devices that they download different podcasts onto. Put us on your list. Please do that. All you need to do is go to iTunes, type in The World Financial Report on Radio. The World Financial Report on Radio. Subscribe to the podcast, and we will be more than happy to keep you up to date weekly, yearly, with our radio show and newsletter as to what's going on in the financial markets. If you'd like to get our free weekly newsletter, speak with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or call 1-800-432-1022. It's the companion to our radio show, and it's a must-read. You'll get a chance to see exactly what Harold and I are looking at every week. We have our featured diamond. It's a .49 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. And I was saying to Harold, I don't know who did the video on this, but they did an outstanding job because it really highlighted this diamond. It really is a beauty. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com right now, click on Featured Diamond of the Week and see the video. We have a picture of it in our newsletter. It is outstanding. And keep in mind, the overall price for Argyle pink diamonds has tripled since 2000, according to Jean-Marc Leverhaire, who is with the managing director of Rio Tinto Diamonds. In one article, and we do have an article about Rio Tinto and their Argyle diamond tender, but we did find this week a brand new article, and it's from the BBC. And it is interesting because they don't know why pink diamonds are pink diamonds. They pretty much have it figured out for all the other diamonds, why they're colored, but they've done extensive study, and they cannot figure out why pink diamonds are pink. And it's called from the BBC, What Makes Pink Diamonds Pink, and it goes into all the ins and outs of the pink diamond market. And I know, Harold, you love this article. I did too. It really gives people an education as to why pink diamonds they're really the rarest thing out there, because no one really knows why they are pink.
Exactly. We know that blue diamonds turn blue because of boron. We know that green diamonds can turn green because of uranium. We know that nitrogen turns a diamond yellow and orange. But we certainly do not know what makes a diamond pink, red, or purple. And those are three of the rarest colors that you could possibly get. And it's so sophisticated when you read this article as to what they're doing to try to determine what makes the pink. But regardless, whatever makes the diamond pink, it's the rarest of the rare. And soon, pink diamonds will be the most expensive of all diamonds. And we know the reason for that, because the mine that produces 95% of them is going to close in 5 years. This is really one of the greatest investment opportunities that I think that we've really ever seen, because you're talking about 95% of a very, very important commodity being gone. No chance of it coming back. There are no other mines in existence that produce pink diamonds to the extent that the Argyle mine does. And Randy just mentioned that Argyle pink diamonds in the past 10 years have tripled in price. Tripled. And the closer we get to the mine closing, which again is 5 years from now, we anticipate these diamonds can go up another 1,000%. So investment-wise, they're probably about the best investment you can make. They will never decline in value because there's hardly any available. And there's no new mines coming online. And if by some slim chance they ever did find another mine that could actually produce pink diamonds, it'll take another 10 or 15 years to bring that mine online. So again, we're looking at in 5 years, the price of pink diamonds can go up another 1,000% from where they are right now. I don't think there's any other investment in history that can do what pink diamonds are doing. And the fact is that we'll never, ever get another opportunity to do this again, because there is no mine in existence that produces 95% of any colored diamond. So only one diamond out of 100,000 is colored. It doesn't mean because it's a colored diamond that is investment quality. In fact, very few diamonds are investment quality. When you look at what's happening with Argyle and pink diamonds, that mine was discovered in 1986, the Argyle mine in the East Kimberley district of Western Australia. They found this amazing diamond mine. And this mine produces 30 million carats of diamonds a year. 30 million carats. But the majority of those are low quality industrial white diamonds that are used actually to cut other diamonds. That's what industrial diamonds are. That leaves only about 2% that are considered these amazing pinks. Now, the Argyle mine does produce other diamonds, very, very rare diamonds. The odd blue diamond comes out of the Argyle mine. The odd red diamond comes out of the Argyle mine, and the odd purple diamond comes out of the mine. But in all honesty, there's, again, very few investment quality diamonds that come out of the mine. So you're talking a very small number. When you're talking about pink Argyle diamonds, if you take the whole year's supply and pour it into a champagne flute, it would, which is a glass, just a glass of champagne, it wouldn't even fill the entire glass. That's how small the Argyle pink diamond market is. It's considered the most concentrated form of wealth in the world, that a quarter-carat diamond could be worth so much money, and 95% of these diamonds are smaller diamonds. They're under a quarter carat. So again, the most concentrated form of wealth in the world today. To get an Argyle pink diamond that's over a half a carat is a true rarity. In fact, those are diamonds that are hoarded. Those are kept for the Argyle tender, which they do every year, which is where they show these magnificent diamonds. So we've been in the Argyle pink diamond business for quite a while. I've been buying Argyle pink diamonds for a long, long time now. And the fact is that they're about the best investment I believe I've ever made, and that my clients have ever made. And we've had some unbelievable investments over the past 15 years. So the fact is that the mine is going to close in 5 years. The closer we get to the mine closing down, these diamonds skyrocket in price. The diamonds that we're showing today as the featured diamond is the best that money can buy. A vivid pink Argyle is almost impossible to get right now. To get one that's around a half a carat is extremely rare, and that diamond in 5 or 10 years from now will turn out to be one of the best investments you could ever make. Now again, these diamonds are not inexpensive. You know, you're looking at Argyle pinks right now that are vivid around a half a carat can be in the $400,000 or $500,000 range. But those diamonds will be in the $2, $3, $4 million range in 10 years from now. They will never, ever decline in value because there's so few of them available. And when you buy the very best, you always get the most back for it. So when you look at this particular featured diamond, it's right around a half a carat, which is the right size and the right color. To own a vivid pink Argyle, you're talking one of the rarest diamonds in the world today and one of the best investments you could possibly make. Just go back to blue diamonds in the last 10 years and saw what happened when there's hardly any supply of blue diamonds. Back 10 years ago, you could have bought a 1 carat vivid blue diamond for about $200,000 a carat. Today, if you could ever get one, they're over $2 million a carat, 10 times what the prices were 10 years ago. And now the same thing is happening with pink diamonds. So again, they're not easy to get. And by the way, not only do we have probably the largest inventory of Argyle pink diamonds, but we have the only way to resell them. Because what good is an investment if it can't be resold? So what my company owns is the only virtual live auction business in the world today that sells and our clients' diamonds. Now, we built this site, and it is so outrageous the way that it works. We've had 14 auctions so far, and people from all over the world are actually participating in our auctions. It's amazing. It's virtual, means that no matter where you are in the world, you can participate in our auction. That's how amazing this is. On top of it, there's a half a second delay, so it's live. And I sell every piece, which is something that I insisted on because these diamonds all have a story, and that story has got to be told, and I'm the one that tells it. So we have a secondary market that will resell your diamonds in 5 to 10 years from now when you want to do so. In the meantime, we also hold auctions for some of our clients around the world to be able to buy Argyle diamonds, and we're going to bring an auction to you, a very rare Argyle auction for our clients coming up either at the end of January or the beginning of February, and I'll let you in on that as soon as we set the catalog, which is coming up almost any day now. We're going to have the rarest Argyles that you've ever seen, some very rare colors also, some Argyle yellows, Argyle blues, Argyle pinks, and Argyle grays, some really amazing diamonds. The diamonds you want to stay away from are the browns and the champagne-colored diamonds. They're not strong investment qualities. Unless you happen to get the right brown that's got maybe orange in it, something very exotic. But we do want to concentrate on the pinks. Those are, again, amazing assets to own at this particular point. Another thing is that our auction business is growing. We've attracted some major players in the market, and mark this date down. Unless it changes, February the 28th is going to be in our first car auction, classic car auction, and it's going to be with classic Ferraris. We're so excited about this, Randy, because, again, this has never, ever been done before, selling the world's classic cars, and some of the rarest Dino Ferraris back from the 50s and that type of thing will be coming up on my business, 8 Siegel Fine Auctions, and the date that we've chosen so far is February the 28th. You're going to be able to bid on these magnificent cars, and we're actually going to hold this auction live in the showroom from this Ferrari dealership in Florida that not only has beautiful new Ferraris, but has classic Ferraris going back to the 40s and 50s. So we're so proud and excited that 8 Siegel Fine Auctions, which has been featured many times on Bloomberg Television and Fox News, where they've interviewed me because we built the secondary market for these very high-end collectibles, and now it appears that the high-end auto industry is very interested in our business. So, Randy, I'm just ecstatic with what's happening going into the new year, where we are concerned about, the currency markets and the state of the world economies type of thing. The fact is that our hard asset business is doing extremely well, and it is going to be the business for the upcoming next 5 to 10 years.
Our featured diamond of the week is a .49 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid purplish pink argyle. And they filmed it in beautiful fashion. You can see it online at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Click on Featured Diamond of the Week, and you will see this beauty. If you're building a diamond portfolio and starting out in 2015, this would be a great way to start a portfolio. Would be a good, solid core holding. And as I mentioned before, Jean-Marc Lebeher, Managing Director of Rio Tinto, the overall price of Argyle Pink Diamonds has tripled since 2000. And here we are, 2015, another year closer to the Argyle mine being shut down. We have a story for you this week, and I would encourage you to get our free weekly newsletter from Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or call 1-800-432-1022. Rio Tinto's Argyle Pink Diamonds tender yields highest results in 30-year history. We have that story. A brand new story from the BBC, What Makes Pink Diamonds Pink? And I want to read just a little bit from that article because I think that it's very interesting. The mine owned by Rio Tinto is the world's largest source of pink diamonds, the Argyle, even though they're so rare that only a few are produced each year. As well as revealing what makes them pink, scientists hope that studying the diamonds will tell them more about the history of the planet. Diamonds are the Earth's messengers. They come from 100 miles below the surface and tell us about a part of the Earth that we can't visit. They're also giving us a peek back in time, because most diamonds formed about 2 or 3 billion years ago are obviously the rarest of the rare. Each one is a time capsule. And the pink diamonds, because they're different from all other diamonds, have a different part of the story to tell. This is an interesting article. Get it from Harold. We also have a story, Colored Diamonds Prove to be a Good Investment. Wall Street Journal, Dazzling Returns, talking about investing in jewelry and diamonds. We have Diamonds, Timeless Gems in a Changing World, a full report from Bain & Company that you must read. And Harold, one thing we want to send out, it is in the newsletter, Diamante Atelier, the holiday catalog, and this is one of the most beautiful catalogs I have ever seen. The diamonds and the diamond jewelry in there. There's one yellow heart-shaped diamond ring, just stunning. We will really want our listeners and clients to get this Diamante Atelier holiday collection catalog because it is so beautiful, the items in there. And what has the reaction been to it so far, Harold?
Well, we've done a tremendous amount of business, and it speaks for itself because, again, not only are these pieces museum-quality pieces made by the finest jewelers in the world, but on top of that, an article came out in the Wall Street Journal last month about these being amongst the best investments that you could possibly make. So, again, that article came out from the credible Wall Street Journal, and then, our catalog came out, and, again, it's just stunning. There's some pieces on there on the last page where there is a white diamond necklace of all pear-shaped diamonds. The center stone is over 9 carats. That's a multi-million-dollar necklace. And the fact is that investment-wise, these are amongst the best investments that you could possibly make. So we're just absolutely ecstatic about what's happening in the diamond market, in the diamond jewelry market, and we're on top of it. Our new amalgamation of our companies includes Diamante Atelier, 8 Siegel Fine Auctions, and Rare Colored Diamonds. Rare Colored Diamonds being the investment sector of the business, 8 Siegel Fine Auctions as the sales aspect of the business, and Diamante Atelier is the jewelry section of it. So I think we have everything encumbered. We also, my partners are from South America, and we have a program that we have allowed our clients to invest in with us. It's our own business, which is our very heavily growing rough diamond business that we've been in business for generations now. It's a very, very profitable business, and it pays anywhere from 1% to 2% a month for our Canadian clients because of the currency difference and everything. We pay 24% a year U.S. dollars to our Canadian clients that invest in our rough diamond program with us. For our American clients, we pay half of that. We pay 12% because the investment is in American dollars. But even making 12% on a secured investment for our U.S. clients is outstanding. Our Canadian clients are getting 24% of U.S. And again, a lot of our clients are retired, and this has just been a godsend. It's been a big paycheck to them every single month. So if you're interested in making money in 2015, contact us. We have some very conservative programs that are doing extremely well, again, paying as high as 24% to our Canadian clients in U.S. dollars, and we pay every month. So if you're interested in learning about that, give us a call. If you're interested in investing and learning more about the Argyle pink diamond market, the yellow flawless market, the D-flawless market, meaning diamonds in general, as an investment, contact us. We'll send you our learning center. You'll be able to learn everything about the rare diamond market, and we do an online seminar for you. So, and those are all 100% free of charge. So we're here to educate you, to help you, and to help you get into the right investments that are going to help you make an awful lot of money and secure your financial future moving forward. That would be in gold, rare colored diamonds, and in the rough diamond business. So again, Randy, we're just ecstatic about what's happened over this last year. With the Canadian dollar falling as much as it has, it certainly has hurt our business because diamonds are priced, in U.S. dollars at this point. So what we have made available to our clients is the opportunity to invest in our beautiful investment quality diamonds, and we will accept Canadian dollars on that. So give us a call because we have a lot of opportunities for you to make a lot of money going into 2015.
Speak with Harold. Harold's very generous with his time. If you would like to talk with him, he'll be happy to speak with you on the phone. 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022 to call Harold or rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And if you would like to see some of the interviews that Harold did in 2014, we have them for you. We can send them out to you. If you really want to get to know the person Harold Siegel, watch the interview that the Jerry Bovino show did in Aspen, Colorado. And they interviewed Harold for about an hour. It was an outstanding show. We'll send it to you as well. Bloomberg Television interviewed Harold, and it was Carol Masser, Deirdre Bolton. Deirdre Bolton moved to Fox Business News, and once she was over there, well, guess who she had on as one of her guests? Harold Siegel, talking about HSFineAuctions.com and the rare diamond market. And we have all these interviews for you to view. And, of course, a charity auction that Harold did in 2014 was for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, and Harold was on with Nancy Brinker. And there was an interview that Harold did with Nancy Brinker on Bloomberg Radio that was outstanding. And Harold, I'm sure you'll be doing more charity auctions in 2015 with a lot of different charities, and it all started with Susan G. Komen.
You bet. I have a great relationship with Komen. In fact, we're doing a fundraiser for them in Palm Beach in January, and then we donated. And by the way, we took over for De Beers because we now at these major events will be showing diamonds and selling diamonds and giving part of the proceeds, a major part of the proceeds, to Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Charity. On top of that, we have a party the next night at Trump's Mar-a-Lago, and we donated Oprah Winfrey's pink diamond earrings that should sell between $50,000 to $70,000, and my company donated that with all the proceeds going to the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Charity. So, as a result of the great job that we did for them, we have other major charity auctions coming up. And, for my company, it's a good way for us to give back. But on top of that, it's a good way for us to increase our client list. And seeing that we're in the rare diamond business and the classic car business, and these are all expensive items, we need the type of clientele that will be able to buy our diamonds down the road. That's why, these partnerships with these amazing charities helps everybody involved, and we raise a lot of money. So on March the 19th, we have one of our largest auctions ever coming up, and that's going to be for the Girl Scouts of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Gwyneth Paltrow, the Bush women. Some of the most successful women in the world, especially in North America, have been Girl Scouts. And the auction that we're going to do for them is probably the largest auction that we've ever done. Top of that, we have another auction coming up in March, which will be a classic car auction, a diamond auction, and raising money for a charity, a cancer charity for children. And the spokesman for that, the person that heads up that charity, all the women will want to know is Patrick Dempsey, who is Dr. McDreamy on one of these big shows that are on during the week. Not one that I personally watch, but I know it's very, very popular. So we've got a lot of charity work coming up. It introduces us to a lot of wealthy people, but also raises a tremendous amount of money for charity. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So, Randy, 2015 looks like it's going to be a strong year for us moving forward. We're very aggressive in our business. And again, even though the currency markets hurt us earlier in the year, we're in a great situation to build our business and to help a lot of people.
And I believe the TV show, and this I have to admit, I don't watch it either, is Grey's Anatomy. It's Grey's Anatomy.
It's on forever, and one of the most popular shows on TV, and this is a very good-looking guy. So he's, again, a lot of the women want to meet him, and we'll be doing some work with him going into the middle part of the year, so we're very excited about that.
And he's a car guy, too. He likes to race cars.
Yes, he is. So is Donald Trump. We're holding a 3-day classic car show, which coincides with my auction for diamonds, and that's going to be in March, and that's being held at Mar-a-Lago in West Palm Beach, and there's going to be Bugattis and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and classic Corvettes and Thunderbirds, some of the most amazing cars in the world. And again, guys like Jay Leno and Greg Norman and all the people that are involved in these type of situations are all people that are privy to our business. So again, just very excited, Randy. We've worked very, very hard in 2014 to build our business that wouldn't be affected by the currency drop in Canada, because a lot of my top clients are Canadians. I'm Canadian. You're Canadian. Most of our clients are Canadian, and the Canadian dollar, by falling 16%, put us in a situation that we had to alter our business. And as it worked out, all the work that we did has turned out to be extremely positive and progressive for us. So we had a great year.
RareColoredDiamonds.com. And yes, we do the show for Canadians. We are Canadians, and the show is based out of Canada. And we have people listening to us all over the world, the United States, over in the UK and in the Far East. Our featured diamond this week, and you can go to RareColoredDiamonds.com and check it out, is a 0.49 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. Check it out online at RareColoredDiamonds.com and take a look at the video. Harold, with about 30 seconds left, thank you for a great first show of 2015.
My pleasure, Randy. I want to wish you and everybody, all of our fantastic clients out there and friends, a very, very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. Again, 2015 is going to be an exciting year. I think that there's going to be tremendous opportunity. And again, we appreciate you listening to us again this year. We truly appreciate your loyalty to us, and we wish everybody a very, very prosperous new year.
Totally agree. Don't forget, next week we're on 2:30 to 3:30 on CHED. World Financial Report on Radio. Connect with Harold at RareColoredDiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. That's it, another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.